Normally we get apprentices that apply and they obviously want to come do the apprenticeship. This year we've had none apply.
Really?
0 this year.
They offered me a 6-week course, and then you go and become an apprentice in the local council, and they offered me 16 grand a year.
But this is the difficulty as well for a college, because if you're not getting enough people apply to actually go on the courses, how does the college stay in business?
One of our young guys who's finished his apprenticeship, he's still with us. He's really good little chippy. We've just got him a new crafter van, and his insurance for his van just alone is...
People are putting content out now showing the absolute wrong way to do stuff for likes, clicks.
There's one thing for anybody that's listening or watching, thinking about starting a business. Before you've even done any business, you've got £20,000 to £25,000 worth of...
I've always wanted to be a fighter pilot, like you dream as a kid. Like, I want to be...
You'd watched too much Top Gun.
Too much Top Gun, yeah. Wanted to be Tom Cruise.
Like him, that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do well in planes.
So for anybody listening and watching to the podcast, just want to say a big thank you for all of the support. And if you can, go and give us a like, a subscribe and a follow. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on all major platforms, but mainly on the YouTube. We would really appreciate a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is. Thank you very much.
All that jazz.
And all that jazz.
They know it. Right, another episode of Trade Legends podcast. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Do you want to go first?
I'm Rob from Berrywood Contractors.
I'm Paul from OSC Sales.
And we've got you in tonight to have a bit of a chat about the journey, what you've been on with the company or companies that you've now got running, and how you two are working together within the industry.
That's right, yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. So who do you want to start with? Which one, Al?
I would go with you, and mainly because obviously you're from the trade side, and then that will give us like a bit of insight as to you, the types of work you do, and then we can bring you in to say, well, this is how we sort of came to be together.
Right, so when I first left school, obviously my family's been a generation of builders in construction, in carpentry. My granddad was a carpenter, so the main reason I wanted to get into carpentry is obviously just, I guess it's like family tradition, we like a family of carpenters. And then obviously when I left school, I kind of wanted to be an architect, and kind of I was leaving. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to stay on at college and do, graphics. I really want to be an architect, but I kind of started to pursue that. And as when I was going on there, I was kind of like, yeah, this is going to be for me. And then I literally started the course into graphics and realised actually this is not quite what I wanted to do. And I'd already at that time kind of started helping out. I'd been like working from a young age anyway. And I kind of was like looking then for carpentry. So I found a carpentry company, and they were based in London. And I said to them, I really want to get into carpentry. Would I be able to do an apprenticeship? So they said, yeah, okay, right, let's take you on. So started with them and worked mainly uptown. They'd kind of done quite high-end residential carpentry stuff. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. Obviously really learned hands-on, and they were really like, the guy that taught me, he was like in his 80s. Yeah. So he was very traditional. Everything you had to watch, learn, you was hands-on. Every time like you'd kind of then spent that time learning. He wasn't one of those guys that made you tidy up and stuff like that. He wanted you to be watching and learning and really getting like hands-on. So obviously every time that you would kind of like he knew you was paying attention, cracking on, you'd give you like little tasks to see if you were paying attention. So we kind of went from there, working from them, and they obviously were a family-run company. The dad was about to retire, the son was going to take it over, and obviously, unfortunately, he didn't. So we were all kind of without jobs. So I left working for him, and then I went off to work for a family friend that was a carpenter. And obviously learned a lot, and was working with him, obviously doing carpentry, done general building, but we done mainly carpentry, and was really great. Obviously he's very good. He used to teach at a college as well, so he was very, very good at teaching. And I learned a lot from him, and which was really amazing.
Was it similar work to the stuff you were doing with the older guy?
No, unfortunately not, because we were working mainly in London with Matthews and Kelly, so. They was all high-end sort of like carpentry, and they literally just done carpentry. Like we didn't touch anything. Like literally, it was just literally wood, which was great. Which it was obviously what we enjoyed doing. And obviously when I left them, went to work with Bill, and obviously doing carpentry with him, and obviously worked for him a bit. Kind of, I think like one of the recessions kicked in. He had a bit of a bad time, so I then left him, went off and was working with someone else. Went off onto another carpentry company. And I was literally just doing carpentry for them. Then I went around, worked for another builder, and then I met another guy and went out on site and really enjoyed it. And obviously we went and we was doing a lot for, all new builds. So it was really great, really cracking on, getting honing the skills. And then it got to a point where I kind of like left from that and was just like, actually, I want to kind of branch out and do something a bit for myself. So I started up my own little carpentry thing, just working for myself, which was really enjoyable because like it was just, I literally was just doing carpentry still. I wasn't doing any building work by that time, but obviously then I was doing a lot of work for builders, and obviously then they realise that you're young, you're keen, you want to help and get mucked in. So you're learning the process of all the building work. So we're starting to kind of like cracking on them with them, obviously.
How old are you at this point?
So at that point, I was probably in my sort of early 20s. So I was probably in my early 20s. So still pretty young. Obviously, I'd finished my apprenticeship. Obviously, gone over then with Bill and carried on doing carpentry. Obviously, went over to then started doing the site work, and obviously it was just mainly doing just like the carpentry for that. And obviously, then when I went back and I kind of went on my own, I just was like wanting to just do, just like the built-in cupboards, furniture and stuff like that. That's what I really enjoyed. I kind of like was just mainly doing like built-in wardrobes, cupboards, doors and stuff like that.
More bespoke work.
Yeah, just more bespoke. It's just more interesting. It's just not
repetitive.
It's not repetitive, and it wasn't site bashing because you see a lot of people now, and it's just all just like, oh, I've done this really quickly, and and since then, obviously, when I over the years now, we've gone back and actually done some site work and realised actually it wasn't really for us. Like, it's great if you want to just turn out loads of work, and I think
It's just price work,
yeah,
isn't it? Well, I know it used to be just predominantly price work driven. So it was smash it out. Whereas that sort of work is you give them a price or however it works, and you're just there to get it done. You want to spend that much time on a little bit because it's got to be right. Whereas in the new builds, they just chuck them in.
it's just chucked up, and I think
It's
when you enjoy it.
Good experience though, I think. Because then you sort of appreciate maybe the other stuff that you're doing.
Oh God, yeah. When you go from site work, like I say to the young guys that work for us now, I was like, honestly, if you went out on site and realised like how hard it is, because it's not just like, oh, turn up and get loads of money. There is so much more involved. Like, you might have to park a mile down the road, drop off all your tools, go in then and your battery charging over here, you're cracking on doing this. You've got to get there's much more involved, and obviously the health and safety side of things is.
Oh, you've got to sit through induction things and everything on sites now, haven't you?
Not for you, Mark.
Oh, don't wash my hands of site work. I used to do sites when you'd pull up in your car, park outside the plot you was working on, chuck your stuff out the back. That's it.
Yeah.
1940s.
It was black and white then and everything.
This is why I don't do podcasts with you, mate.
So I obviously cracked on doing that, and obviously then, take it back to 2015 when I set up Berrywood, and I was obviously in partnership with another guy who was doing a building company. It was pretty good. We was about 20, 25 guys strong, and I just realised that working in London wasn't for me. So I just said to him one day, I was like, look, I've got a daughter on the way. I want to branch off and just concentrate on working local and be local. And so, I set up Berrywood and come up with the logo, kind of like, it comes from inspiration of, I found out my daughter was the size of a berry at that time. And then obviously the design came from the splinter of wood.
I thought you were going to say.
What are those berries?
Berries and
yeah. So we
invented.
And it all started from there. And pretty much most of the guys that we've got round us are like older guys that have been around forever, and obviously we've got the young guys, and at the moment obviously training people is really key. We always have an apprentice.
Yeah.
We always have an apprentice. I think it's really important.
I mean, I always love hearing that people decide I'm going to go and do my own thing, because I always think you have to try it, regardless of whether or not it ever succeeds. I always feel like you have to, especially trades, because it's yours. Then you care about. It's not for everybody, so I can't bash the people that decide just want to go and work for somebody else. But for anybody listening and watching, I always like to get people's views as to, why did you decide to go and do your own thing? And sort of, was it as you expected? Because a lot of people go, well, I started it and then thought, shit, what have I done?
It's definitely a lot harder, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people see it from it's like the iceberg effect. Everyone sees the top bit and they go, oh, wow, that's great.
Everyone sees the Instagram.
but they don't realise all the work that goes behind it, and it's all the legwork, the chasing, the evenings, the up late pricing, and obviously it starts off like that.
What was the hardest bit for you to transition to?
I think the hardest thing, which is I'm still transitioning to now, I think is just learning to be more of a business person and not you have to forget that you're a carpenter. You kind of then have to think, actually, it's a business, because it's a bit of a game change, because everyone, especially from the trades, just starts off as a tradesperson. So,
Are you still massively on the tools or not?
I'd say Not as much as I want to be. I'd like to be on the tools more.
But you can't be because you're running everything as well.
Yeah, because you're just running around.
So the one bit of advice that I would always give to tradesmen and women, and I speak to so many on here, is they cannot get off the tools.
And that's the toughest thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the toughest thing because, as well, customers, they get used to you going there. So I get repeat custom and I go there.
And they only want you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. They're buying into you, aren't they?
And then when you turn up and you go, right, okay.
What's so good about me?
Yeah, and the thing is all there as well because everyone learns, especially from the age bit, and obviously everyone gets a bit ageist because everyone's kind of a bit like, oh, so I've been there, I've been in that situation where you turn up, go pitch your roof, and they're going, oh, you look a bit young, and you're going, obviously now I don't do that as much.
Well, we had that with the podcast. You listened to Lewis's podcast the other week, and he had that. He looks massively young.
Yeah,
he won't mind me saying
looks
it.
about 12.
Yeah, but he gets it. He's turned up to jobs before, and they've looked at him and gone, "Where's the?"
No, it's because
where's
when
the
they
guy?
open the door and he goes, "Safe, bro."
What are you saying, bro?
Where do you want me respect?
But he gets it, and he openly says, it is that ageist thing.
Yeah, it is. And
But
especially
if you're
for
good at
starters.
that, and he's really good. Like,
No,
as we
he's
were
good.
saying.
I've seen his profile. He looks like he does some good work. And there's a lot of young guys out there that really can do really good, and they really are good, and they pay attention, and they love it. And the thing is, being any trade, you've got to love what you do. You've got to, especially being a carpenter, you've got to love making things, and you've got to love tools. It's like being a big kid with loads of power tools.
I mean, the one thing that I will say for trades, because in here it's like probably the biggest headache has always been staff, and it's taken 15, 20 years in here to get like a good group of people. And I actually think it's harder in the trades because, you have a lot of mental health issues with people in the trades. It's a lonely place if you're working on your own, all that sort of stuff. You higher numbers of suicide.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys, especially that go out and they live for a Friday to go and do whatever they do on. Oh, it's midday Friday. I'm in the pub.
Masters.
Bricklayers.
I was waiting to go
It's wet trades. No,
but I honestly think it's very, very difficult for, say, you're running your business to find people that are that get out of bed.
Yeah, it's like this year normally we get apprentices that apply and they obviously want to come do the apprenticeship. This year we've had none apply.
Really?
0 this year.
See, because that's
sad.
That's a weird argument, isn't it? Because the amount of apprentices that we get that contact, obviously here or via social media, looking for apprenticeships. I honestly think it would be a good thing that maybe with us, with the podcast, is we start a website where you can say, look, I've got positions here, and people can come on, search by postcode and go, and it's just for apprentices.
Do you not have colleges give?
Yeah,
like,
so even the
making
colleges
that
this
link?
year. So they said, look, are you going to do an apprenticeship this year? And we said, we'd love to. We really want to have apprentices this year. And they said, have you got anyone? We said, well, we've put adverts out. We've got no one. And normally we've got a friend or a relative or someone's got someone that's coming to get age. Normally it happens, but this year even the college said they have had literally
wow.
Like
But this is the
shocking.
difficulty as well for a college, because if you're not getting enough people applied to actually go on the courses, how does the college stay in business?
Yeah.
Because they're not getting any funding for,
Yeah, because they've got to hit their quota, haven't they? But it makes you think. I've always said it. The schools, I don't know if they still do it, but schools were always pushing people into uni and sixth form and all that. It was like when I was there many years ago in the 40s, as I would say. It was always like,
there was no uni in the 40s.
There was always, you're struggling in maths, whatever. Go into a trade, become a brickie.
See,
so the schools don't push it unless. I don't know if it's still the same.
When I was at school, and me and you aren't too dissimilar in the age, but nobody ever said, like, all I ever got was just go into the army.
Yeah, it was never trade.
Because I was never
based, was
massively academic. But I honestly feel like with the schools now, is they need to go, right, okay, you get to 14 and you're about to do your GCSEs, you're not massively academic, so we're going to keep you, everybody has to do the basics, maths and English, but we're going to put you into a vocational section of the school, and the school suddenly splits at that 14, and you have more design technology based stuff. You have stuff where it's more learning about electrics or plumbing or whatever. So it gives you like a broad overview of all trades, and somebody will go, do you know what, I really enjoyed that plumbing part. I'm going to go into plumbing.
But it's mad that the college aren't even having them to push towards you.
And I think the problem is as well.
Whereabouts are you based?
So we're based in West Sussex. So the nearest college to us, we've got Crawley College, which is a part of the Chichester group, and they've been really good. And we've done some invitation days where we've gone down and met the college, met the lecturers, and they have all the companies down. And I think we're only a small company, and they had
Are their numbers down for intake as well?
Yeah, they're down massively. I think they're massively down, and like normally they'd say like if we can't find one, they would have an apprentice to put forward to you like in your local, but they've got no one this year. So.
I mean, does that college as well? Does that teach other specific trades?
Yeah, they've got loads. They've got everything.
And is that across
all?
all?
It's across all boards. Yeah. So the Chichester group's massive. It's just like the whole southeast. So.
But is it the same then? Not just for carpentry. If they say if they've got bricklaying there, is it the same that they're not bringing enough people through?
Yeah, I think so. The problem is, I think
across the board. Then
I would say it's just not. You know, like especially because now social media is making kind of like it glamorises it to a certain extent, but the stigma of being in the trade, you know, and obviously in America and Canada, it's kind of like you kind of like blue collar worker. It sounds a lot more. Oh yeah, I think there's a little bit more respect, but I think in the UK it's kind of like if you go in a trade, it's that stigma of was you not as clever or was you not interested?
We
like,
get it all.
Really intelligent
So many people never done well.
My worry is as well because I saw something recently where the previous governments have tried to push at least 50% of kids through into university, and then the old Starmer's come out and said he wants to up that to 70%. And I'm like, but
what are they going to do?
Yeah.
But kids already are coming out, obviously saddled with massive amounts of debt, but can't get the job that they want in that particular industry, or whatever it is, because some of the degrees in essence are Mickey Mouse degrees. Why aren't we pushing more people into
construction?
They need to. The thing is, it needs to be more respected as an industry because you need to get that bit, and especially now as well with like you've got the tool thefts and stuff like that. There's a lot of problems and stresses of being then in a trade. And things for young people now, like insurance for a van. Like how many young people do you know now that are 18 or 19 that can go get a van?
Yeah. Well, back in the day, everybody had a
van,
even if it was a knacker.
Yeah. But even for a company, I'm sure if you've got a trade policy on your vans, you've got to be over 25.
It's one of our young guys who's finished his apprenticeship. He's still with us. He's really good little chippy. We've just got him a new crafter van, and he's 21, just turned 22, and his insurance for his van just alone is £3,900. And that's what we're having to fork out to have a van for him to,
So he's got a brand new crafter at 21.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
He is living the dream, yeah. Every time he goes out, I'm just like, please don't scratch it.
Yeah, because they're not small, are they? The crafters are massive.
It's a nice van.
That's the thing as well is, again, because we get the odd people that go, oh, well, apprentices don't get paid anything, or people don't look after them. But then you get people that do come on, and it's like, well, if people knew how much insurance was just to insure their vehicle, and then it's not with any tools on it.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Then you've got to get tools.
So we've got a new apprentice at the moment. He's doing his second year, and by the time we pay our insurance for him, the grant that you get now from the CICB
doesn't even touch the size. Yeah,
it used to be £1,500 for 2 years. Now you get £900 for 2 years. Wow. By the time you pay him insurance, and like I bought him his first set of tools when he first starts, because I believe that everyone has to have good tools. So I go out, buy him a nice tough box, buy him a load of tools in there. Got his skill saws, got his like drill drivers, load of hand tools. I think I spent £600 the day he started. So the day he started, I was like, right, this is yours.
You're already £600 down.
Already down, and that's without then putting your insurance on, without any workwear. So that's just some tools. So I can see why a lot of companies don't do it, because it's one, it is stressful, but two, at the end of it, if you can then train the next generation, and I found it's tricky as well, because I've noticed that people trying to get into the trades, people are always, it's finding hard to find the people because it's quite a clicky thing to get in. You need to get into a company. It's a lot of things, but it's if there was more people willing to take people on, or there was some subsidies just to help out, even with tool companies. Like I know there's a certain few tool companies now that are doing it where they're doing like little apprentice starter kits. Like more people need to be on board of. Let's get the next generation. Let's get them learning. Let's get them using the right tools for the right job, learning the right way, and making college a bit longer, because now you can do it in like a year. Yeah. Like a lot of courses now it's like a year, and you're like...
They're at that point when they start, if let's say, for instance, a tool brand builds an electrician's kit or whatever, and does a deal on that lad then, or that girl then, is going to probably use that company, that brand of tools 100%. For the rest of their career.
Yeah.
So they should do, like you say, do a deal.
We always did that via the website, so apprentices would get more money off it.
Yeah, a package.
Let me, because my granddad bladder's kicked in.
Oh, he's off already. He's off already. But yeah, it is interesting that the colleges can't even give that amount of, can't get them in.
No, they're struggling to get them in. And the thing is as well, like how can you expect then good trades to be on for the future, especially now as well? Because I think building on to kind of everything that's going on, you're kind of getting people getting very short snippets of becoming a trade. And I don't know if you find it, but when you get younger guys that come in all of a sudden they're like, I'm a carpenter. So as soon as they finish their college, they're like, yeah, I'm a carpenter. I need more money.
Yeah.
That is the struggle. And that's the bit where a lot of companies lose. And that's we struggle with that, obviously, upping the wages for their ability.
Yeah.
But like you have to say to them, it's going to come. And obviously, we help out with tools and bits like that. And
But you've invested that much money into them for them 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I always say, at least give that company a couple of years before you look to go on your own or whatever. Each their own, but
they should have the conversation. But I think a lot of people now have lost the kind of bit where they can talk. And like Paul, you're saying, pick up the phone, ring someone, if you need to talk to someone, talk to them. But I think a lot of people are now scared of talking to people and saying, actually, I feel like I'm a bit unvalued. Like, can I up my money a bit? And, obviously there's a limit, because, some people want a pay rise every 6 months or 3 months. It'd be dreamy if it could happen, but it doesn't. But but I think it's that bit where to retain them, then you need to get the bits and obviously offer those bits of that next step of their career. Like, obviously, like our young guy's got a van, and obviously it was something that he was really passionate about. One of our other guys that would have got a van went off travelling. Which was hopefully he's going to stick about, and then we could get him a van. But obviously, because we don't know if he's going to go
how
back
many
to
people
Oz.
you got on your firm then?
There's about 7 or 8 of us now.
Okay.
We were 12, but we kind of like coming out of 2020, we downsized a little bit. We kind of reconfigured because we realised actually we had more people, and you just couldn't get the quality work and the jobs that you want to choose. And we've kind of a bit more picky with picking what we want to do.
There's one thing for anybody that's listening or watching and thinking about starting a business. So you told us it was £3,000 for your youngest.
And insurance.
Yeah.
So you imagine, say on average, it's 2,500. Before you've even done any business, you've got £20,000 to £25,000 worth of
and that's without even paying for the van.
insurance.
Yeah.
You still
Without
got to pay
the
for the
van.
van. So you
Then
still
you've
got to pay for
running
the
it.
van.
Then you've got the van, wear and tear. You've got obviously buying the van.
Buying the van, yeah.
Plus their wage.
Yeah. You can see why most people are a bit like, ooh, yeah, it's a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But
Go to uni, everyone. Get a debt.
To be fair, you've got to invest that money to make.
Of course you have.
To make the money, but if people are listening and watching to this, they should be picking up on those things and thinking, okay, so he said that's how much that costs, and not, like noting stuff down. I always find it's really frustrating for me because I get asked so many questions, and it's always the same questions I get asked, and I'm like, just watch the podcast.
Well, Rob, you mentioned about the apprentice when he finishes his apprenticeship saying, "I'm a carpenter now." Is it purely, he says, that based on his carpentry skills? Are they developing other skills like how to talk to a customer, how to organise their time?
So colleges, they don't have anything.
There's
a
more
business
depth.
module.
No, the thing is, that's what they need as well. Because on the top of then becoming a carpenter, not only that you've got then. So I always believe once you finish your carpentry apprenticeship, you're then an improver. So I feel like for next few years you're improving, and that's how I say when I say we can have the carpenter over, we've got an improver come over, and they're more than capable of doing the job, but obviously they're not going to be as quick, but the thing is that it's the quality, and I'd rather them take their time, get the job done, because you see something, especially on social media, where they're bashing things, and they go, oh, it's a 7 out of 10. Why are you posting that? It's 10 out of 10, or it's just not done. Like, just do a good job. Get your guys to be like, root for perfection, and you can't be perfect all the time. We're not robots. You do have your bad days, but you need to be aiming for good quality work. And the thing is, just having we want to be that local company that people come to because they know that we provide good quality work. All our guys are polite, courteous. We just want to be known as a company that's if you're going to get them Berrywood around the house, then you know that we're going to be effectively, like I joke about it, the hashtag the dream team. But there are lots of other good people out there, but it's just nice to know that they can trust you in their homes, because at the end of the day, you're part of a family. For most of our renovations and most of the things that we do, you're in someone's house for a long time, so you need to be able to trust who you've got going there. So if you've got a load of oiks in like hoodies and jogging bottoms, like bombing around, vaping every 30 seconds and going, what time are we going to the pub, mate?
Some utes.
Do you want that around your house? Like, I see some people, especially when they turn up in like scruffy old van, beating the hell out of, and they turn up and they literally got like their free t-shirt they've been given from the builders merchants, covered in crap.
That's not my plasterer, Tom, my renderer.
Oh, is it?
He literally looks like one of the wet bandits.
Just rolls up, knackered old van, big oil slick on House News Drive.
Not Marv, the other one. He literally reminds me of him.
Oh, does it?
And he's knackered.
What van's he got? Old Transit.
It's like, it literally looks like it's rusting on the one side.
Oh, it's got a bit
patina. It's a bit of patina on it.
What's really frustrating with him is his work.
He's amazing.
It's good.
He's spot on. But again,
interesting, isn't it?
can't get him out of bed in the morning.
Yeah,
So,
it's the basics.
yeah.
So moving on to you then, Paul. Because obviously you two are joined within something, but
Yeah.
let's build the picture up from where
Okay.
you've come into.
So what's your were you ever trades? What did you do when you
I look like a scaffolder, but I'm not.
you're a bit cleaner than a scout?
Yeah, yeah.
You'd have your jogging bottoms.
And you're here on a Friday night.
I'll be
looking
on
at
the
pub.
Friday, yeah, exactly that, yeah.
He's on the beers though, so
Yeah, exactly that.
Good
Yeah.
book.
No, I know I look like in the trade. My family come from a background of trade. I went corporate, so I left school.
Black sheep.
Black sheep of the family, more ways than one. And I actually went to join the RAF. I went, 16, 17. I went to apply for the RAF down in Chatham.
Was that, we literally touched on that. Was that from school? Did they go?
No. I've always wanted to be a fighter pilot, like you dream as a kid. Like I want to be.
You'd watched too much Top
Too
Gun.
much Top Gun, yeah. Wanted to be Tom Cruise.
Like him, that.
Yeah, exactly that.
I don't do well in planes.
You kind of a little bit under pressure about what you want to do, and I've done fairly well in school. But I was on the way with a friend of mine actually to go. He was applying for an MVQ course in Chatham in Kent. I went down with him. I was actually applied to go to the RAF, done the application forms, etc. Went in, and he said, "Why don't you apply now?"
What was he gone down to do?
I think it was an MVQ to have an apprenticeship, believe it or not, around their local council. So in Rochester, when it was Rochester Council.
Doing what, as a trade? As a
No,
chippy?
just no trade, nothing to
Okay.
do with trade. It was just an apprenticeship around the council. You spend time in environmental health,
Right.
housing,
Got ya.
committee, printing, all that kind of stuff. So I went with him, applied, and they offered me a 6-week course, and then you go and become an apprentice in the local council. And they offered me, this is back in the 90s, like 16 grand a year back then to be an apprentice.
Yeah.
And I was like, RAF.
That's why the government's fucked now.
Oh, no, exactly that, yeah. And I was like, at 17, 18, just going out with your mates,
Yeah.
clubbing, all that kind of stuff, having cash,
Getting that sort of
getting that
dough.
kind of dough. And I was like,
All right, darling.
yeah.
Show
I
me
was
the
like,
manner.
yeah, exactly that. I was like, wow.
Dressed as a pilot. Walking into Yates's.
It's like Catch Me If You Can.
Who have you been speaking to? Who have you been speaking
It's
to?
gone through your Facebook earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Deep dived, you mate. Gone right in.
So I kind of binned off the RAF, and the dream died. And I just went around the council, and I ended up going in every department. Ended up settling in housing. So as a 18, 19-year-old, I was in housing. Before I was 20, 21, I was 3 or 4 years into housing. And obviously that made me grow up, like seeing people who are homeless, social problems.
Social housing.
Social housing and all the different social issues that come with it. And I was literally, and again, he was talking about, feeling a bit young when you becoming a carpenter and people not taking you seriously because of your age. It was like, I was having families who were facing homelessness, sitting down, I'm going out interviewing them as a homelessness officer
Right.
at 18, 19, thinking, what do I know?
With a clipboard and a pen, clicking it.
Yeah, exactly that. Thinking I didn't even know it existed, homelessness at this age. But I learned very quickly, very fast, and moved on around the council. In the end, back then everything was paper. Only just moving over to computer, and I'm naturally into computers and tech. And we moved the paper housing application system into a computerized system, and that's when I ended up getting into computers. Ended up doing a secondment, didn't want to go back to housing, so I thought, go to the big smoke, go up London. From Kent, everyone was working in London at the time, so I went up I'd done a short stint, temporary contract in Prudential, done a little bit in the Home Office, and then randomly and amazingly, I got a temporary contract at Shell, the oil and gas company Shell.
Right.
Ended up spending 11 years there. I can say it now because it's a long time ago, but I blagged it.
That's why.
How many people come on and say they blanked?
I love hearing a blag story.
Well, the black story
Love
was,
it.
do you know, because this is how old I am, the internet's only just exploded onto the scene, in the
Dial-up.
early 2000s. Yeah, and they said, do you know HTML? I said, yeah, of course I do. And then
I know him.
HTML, yeah, that's Tom's brother Al. And I said yes, and I went into the team, and they said, okay, you're looking after our intranet, back in the day, intranet. And I was like, right, okay. So I actually literally for 2 weeks, every night, all night long, learn HTML.
But because the internet's that young, you can't Google it.
Yeah.
No,
Can you?
no.
You're at the library.
Yeah.
I know H, but I don't know T.
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and anyway, I worked my, obviously worked my way through it, and spent really 11 amazing years at Shell. Traveling the world, it was amazing.
What was you doing there? Just very computer based with them.
Yeah, so web. It was web, a lot of intranet and their external website. Just putting on content, putting on imagery, just learning content management systems, and then I moved into other kind of areas in terms of online communications, digital communications, marketing. Around because it's so vast. Shell is just ridiculously vast in terms of
People just think it's a petrol station.
they do,
don't they?
yeah. That sell petrol and fags basically. And
Is there a
cost
bit
of
more to
copper.
it than that?
Yeah, a little bit more to it. You look at how they get it out, how they extract it from the ground, and Shell chemicals and EMP, gas and power. Yeah. It's so vast, it's unreal. And I went around a few departments, ended up becoming. I was settling in a department which was called Attraction and Recruitment, which basically recruited the creme de la creme of graduates,
Right.
And which was essentially marketing. So I was there for best part of 11 years. I'd done a short stint abroad. A guy I met there was setting up a oil and gas recruitment company, so I spent some time in Manchester and the Middle East. I went back to Shell, and then I left because it taught me really high standards of comms, media, communications, and marketing. But then I thought, you know what, I want to go and test myself in a different environment. So I went from one extreme to the other. So I went from Shell, the oil and gas company where, multi-million-pound budgets, everything needed to be done brilliantly, to my local NHS where there was no budget.
Shambles.
There was no budget, no expectation. And I thought, you know what, I could become a superstar here.
Yeah, I could be a hero.
I could be a hero.
He walks in, the Conor McGregor walk. He's bowled in like that.
Ronaldo's here. Never
But joking aside, it taught me an array of other skills. How to use money better, use your budget, utilise your budget better.
Yeah, because it's massively smaller, isn't it?
Well, you have to fight for your money, quite rightly so, because the budget should be going to the front line.
Yeah.
To help the frontline staff to protect the patients and help the patients. So you had to fight for your money, and you had to spend it wisely, and you had to make sure you had a return on investment. But there was such a low expectation that when I introduced certain new websites, new ways of working, new communication channels, social media, I brought social media to the trust I was working at. And at the time, it was like groundbreaking and revolutionary. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting, not devaluing myself, but I was just bringing my skills,
Testing yourself,
bring my skill set, what I knew on a global scale, to the NHS. Which, to be fair, even though it's the NHS in the UK, the size of it is 10 times a global company. It's huge.
Yeah.
And the thing that tested me, one of the things that I was talking to Rob earlier, there's a place for digital, but I still value the human contact, people. It really frustrates me, people who WhatsApp and text and they don't pick up the phone, they don't talk. It really winds me up.
Showing your age.
That's
what me, that is.
It did teach me a different set of skills, and the people who work in the NHS are diverse, and obviously you've got the patients as well, and it's a great organisation, but it's a beast, and it's got
massive tanker, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got its struggles, but again, I loved my time there.
How long was you there for then?
I was there for 2007 to 13ish, so
Okay.
about 5 years. So I started in the local commissioning side, which is the boring side of the NHS. Sorry, everyone who works in commissioning. It's where they plan and plan the healthcare and deal with the money and budgets and stuff like that. And then I went to acute side, which is the hospital, more exciting. And then because I got into web and apps and branding and social media and video and all the different streams of marketing.
The cool stuff.
The good stuff and all the cool stuff. And I realised I was actually quite good at it. And then I joined an amazing company called OSC as marketing manager. And they're a family-run business. And
Doing, what do they do?
they do fixings.
Where's your bloody cue
I was leading him into it.
Where's your cue card?
I was leading him in.
Yeah.
I've got it here. I was leading him in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there, we were talking earlier.
Says your eyes.
Yeah, that's why I was leading him in out.
I need to do this.
It's about leading the. It's about leading the guests in.
Yeah, and OSC, formed in 1998, family business. Actually, founder Glenn, his brother Fred was here only a couple of months ago, I think. Waterstrong,
Yeah,
Fred Dunn. You know Fred?
Also strong, yeah. The tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's the founder, and not a lot of people really know this, and
Fred's a nice guy,
Yeah, he's
real
a lovely
nice
guy. Yeah, and actually, Rob actually the other day Rob said to me, I don't know whether to mention Timberlock. I mean, you do realise OSC actually brought Timberlock to the UK market. We're the original self-drilling screw supplier. So we brought that to the market, which was revolutionary at the time, to the UK market in 1998. And everyone pretty much, it's a bit like the Hoover comparison.
Yeah.
Everyone says Hoover, the brand, but actually if you get your Henry out or your Dyson, you still call it a Hoover.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Timberlock. People still call them Timberlocks today. And that's what I said to Rob, don't worry, you can say Timberlock. He's actually
I was
asked.
getting really worried. I was a bit like, oh God, if I say
gonna get
Timberlock,
sued.
and you're going to go,
No,
oh,
it's actually
Rob,
us.
that's it.
Yeah,
You're off.
yeah. So the company's been going. It's a family business, and talking about earlier about having the right staff. It's a real family affair as well in terms of we all got each other's back. We all work closely together. One of the things that I are passionate about in the company is making sure sales and marketing work together. Because so many, you look online and you can see so many articles about sales and marketing are at war. They don't like each other. One blames the other.
Yeah.
We really make an effort for sales and marketing to work as well.
How many people are in that company now?
About 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's a small company, but to go for 25 years and be a leading company, innovative still, growing year on year, and we've got huge growth coming up as well. We've just literally, so we look after 3 brands, which is Carpenter's Mate, the premium timber screw. We've just acquired Optimax, which is the.
I love the way you're going like this. Like
Well,
that.
I forgot to get all the logos on there.
That's the Popeye audition.
I wanted to come dressed like a Formula 1 driver and loads of logos on me. Do you know what I mean?
Shell being the big one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sponsored by.
Sponsored by, yeah. So Carpenter's Mate Premier timber fixings. Optimax we just acquired in September actually.
That's the electrician side.
No, Orbix is the
Orbix,
electrical.
that's
Yeah,
the one.
Orbix is our electrical, and it's the kind of all 3 brands. Optimax, we believe is the best wood screw on the market, taking the best of everything and creating the best wood screw on the market. And obviously, we'll go into that a little bit later with Rob and how we met. But yeah, Orbix it kind of took on the same principles. It's all about quality.
Yeah.
And I told you the anecdote earlier about we've talked a lot about apprentices or tradespeople who have got scruffy vans, they've got scruffy tops, they turn up late, they're unorganised, they're just basically a mess. We call them the Bob the Builders. We don't want to work, they're not our persona, they're not our target audience.
Poor Bob getting tarnished.
I know, it's poor old Bob.
He grafted on the BBC for years.
No, he bloody can't.
No, you can't fix it, no.
Poor Bob.
Get me muckins, Izzy.
Yeah.
He knows the link. Yes.
Yeah. So our target persona is not Bob the Builder. We call him the Robert the Builder. And then we're going to go a step further, and we're creating this real specialist community of elite tradesmen and calling them Robertos. And then going the next step further.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
I've patented that one.
Oh, already?
Yeah,
Even
I've been on
before?
there. Jack did it. I've given them that.
Straight away.
Yeah, so we're all about our fixings are all about quality, about time saving. They're premium, and obviously we creating this community. I wanted to find Roberts, and finding the right community of people, not again influencers who are just not on there because they've got 2 million followers and they're not really doing a good job. Actual real Roberts who, and as you obviously heard Robert talking or Rob talking, happens to be called Rob.
Did you go hunting for a Rob?
Well, I had to go. Yeah, we had to search long and hard.
Here he is.
The Rob run.
Yeah, exactly. I downloaded an Excel spreadsheet. We have definitely got a Rob somewhere.
Just put search in Instagram.
Yeah, no. Joking aside, Rob literally emphasises everything about our Robert. He's organised, he's tidy, he looks after his staff, his quality of work is amazing.
Are you wasting time? I think that some of you probably are, and I have a solution for you. Nobody wants to do any type of admin. Now, I have a solution for you, and it is called Tradify. It's a fully automated job scheduling, invoicing, and quoting all in one place. Now, that software is going to save you 12 hours a week, and all by using a simple software solution. Now, you can try it for 2 weeks, absolutely free, no cards needed, and you'll even get support in person from Tradify themselves. Now, when you're done, you can always come back to me and thank me, but just enjoy the extra 12 hours that you're going to gain from just using the software.
And obviously, one of our best sellers is the Pro Hex Head, which is the M10 coach bolt replacement, and happens to be one of Rob's Favourite
fixings,
fixings, Robert.
You guys.
I know, exactly. It was just
Stop
meant to be. It was just meant to be, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously uses quite a lot of our fixings, and also because we've acquired Optimax in September, used Optimax for years, and those are the it's the best.
Those are the best people that champion your product.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
The
And
ones
it-
that have used it before you've even contacted.
And this is it.
Or didn't realise they were using your product and went, oh, I've got one of these, and
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's funny because you visited one of our jobs,
Yeah.
and when we was chatting, and you was like, because you rang up yourself from Carpenters, mate, and I'm like, that rings a bell. I'm like, oh, yeah, the Timberlocks, and you're like, yeah, the Timberlock, yeah. and then literally, when you
I
came
don't
out,
say the Timberlock.
All right, Bob.
and I was like, oh god. And then when you came out, you were like, oh yeah, we're fixing them. Like in the white tubs, yeah, we use them all the time. And you're probably thinking, yeah. So I was like, come in the container, and literally we recycle all the tubs.
Yeah, there was
because they're
loads of
absolutely
tubs,
brilliant.
yeah.
And there was literally just had a stack, and you're like, yeah, you weren't joking. Yeah, you've got a lot of tubs.
Yeah.
There's just tons of
the
them.
delivery sheets on the floor from yesterday.
But the thing is, though, with stuff like that, is you haven't really got to sell it to somebody because they're already invested. They're already part of the extended brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's so easy for you. Like if you were to say, like, this is why I use them. I was having this was it with you or with somebody else? And I'm saying, literally, for me, if I was to go on and go, this is the best product in the world, this is why we made it, does all this, blah, 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 people just go, God, that buck-tooth tosser trying to shill me some shit again. Whereas if, Mark goes on and says it, like he's there, he's in the environment that other people are, he can say it, and everyone goes, oh yeah, it's great. And I say exactly the same thing.
Because as soon as you hear it from the say I was trying to, he's selling it. It's his product. He's selling it. As soon as
He's going to say it's good.
Yeah, he's going to say it's good.
And it was really interesting. On the way up, I actually went right back, didn't we? And I said, actually, when did you actually discover the? He uses our Pro Deck screw and our flooring screw, but I said, when did you actually? Because he loves the hex head so much. I said, when did you actually discover the Pro hex head? And tell the story.
Yeah, and the funny thing is we was obviously predominantly we used to work in London. So when we was working in London, we'd done a lot of loft conversions and a lot of temporary prop work, and obviously finding fixings for that. And a lot of times you get fixings that break, snap. And we was working on this loft conversion, and obviously we was bolting everything up with these like M10 coach bolts. And the building control came out. He goes, "Oh," he said, "You know what? Save you a bit of time." He goes, "I've seen these fixings."
After you put them all in. Mud duff.
Yes, it was exactly like that. He's like looking at us going, "You've done a very nice job."
Then you hate people like that. You're just like, you could have come out 3 days ago.
Why didn't you say? That would have saved a lot of drilling, a lot of sawdust in the eyes. And he turned around and he goes, "Have you not tried those ones you can just screw in there? The replacement, they're BBA approved." And I'm like, and he's like, "Oh, have a look." So literally, I went down to the timber merchant. Oh, I guess I won't say the one. Yeah. We went down to the timber merchant, and there and behold, the carpenter's mate there, and we're just like boxing. We're like, "Oh, we'll have a go at these." So we literally bought a load of tubs.
And then you think, "Where have you been all my life?"
Honestly, it was a bit. And then when you went on a job, when they suddenly then specified that you had to drill the bolts, and you'd be like, "Oh man, can't we just use these?" And then you go into the building inspector, "Can't we just use these now?" And they're going, "Well, you can, but we'd prefer you to." But then obviously now it's like it is like the thing. Like
if your regulations allow you to.
It's and now just
well, just as an example for that, how much time would it save you doing it that way?
On the average loft, it's probably going to save you probably like half a day.
So if you were doing lofts on a regular basis and you total that up period over the course of the year,
it's a no-brainer.
These are things where like tradespeople sometimes they don't realise a product isn't always. It hasn't always got to be flashy, but if it's saving you like an hour or 2 hours every day and you're using it 365 days of the year,
it's blinding.
Shout about those types of products because they're the types of things I always think.
And the tradespeople trust us. They trust our fixings. That it's reliable. It protects their reputation. Not only saves them time and money, but it protects their reputation.
Well, also, if you haven't got to go back and there's no issue with the job.
Yeah.
Well, the fixings outlast the timber. They outlast the project.
We take projects apart where we go especially decking. You go take back the timbers all rotten, and you literally you undo the hex, and you're like. Man, the fixing's still perfect.
Because he calls them the hex. It's funny actually because Carpenter's mate was actually born from. So we bought Timberlock back in 1998 to the UK market, and everyone calls it the Timberlock. We've discussed that, but Carpenter's mate was born because we needed to make because that's an American fixing. So we were the exclusive UK distributor, still are, and we actually needed to make fixings for the UK timber market, and that's where Carpenter's mate was born.
Right.
So the Timberlock is actually called the Pro Hex Head. And Rob's been trying to get, so everyone calls it the Timberlock, but Rob's been trying to get the lingo changed, didn't you? Trying to make all your staff say the hex.
The hex, yeah. Just let's just hex it now. Just hex it. We're like a load of witches now, just in there going, hex it all.
Yeah. So so that and obviously wanting to bring Rob onto the community, and there's influencers who I'm speaking to. We've got other real top quality tradespeople who are ambassadors for us. Can I name them? Yeah, you got Elle at Tisserand England Gardens. You've got Jake Fairweather at Fairdeck. You've got Darren Gooch. They are all kind of top of their game. Really, really love carpenters, mate. They see the value. They're all Roberts, Robertos, Robinhos. It's that getting that community of people, but getting the right community. We don't want the bobs, but also we don't want these. There's another. I'm going to name drop another influencer. We're going to hopefully have on the podcast another time. A great Norfolk carpenter who's young, building his own house, but really passionate about what he does. And it's about building that community. And I want these guys all to be a community and learn from each other. Some of them experienced, probably don't need to learn, but some of them, like Jamie, who's the young one, he will probably welcome. Like working with some of the experienced guys, all learning off each other, getting hints and tips. But also, what we want to do is we want to influence the youngsters, because there's a lack of the trade, lack of apprenticeships. We want to influence them, but influence them in the right way. So associating our brand with quality, reliability, trust, and actually passing that on to these guys who are ambassadors for us, who love our products and love our fixings, but also making sure that they influence the youngsters, but influence them with high standards. Really good principles, values, and actually, becoming a carpenter, getting a business in the trade is not just about the actual skill. It's about organising your money, your time, managing your merchant account.
Well, like you said, you didn't even know about that until somebody else mentioned it. You mentioning it to other people,
that's it.
Is passing on that.
Yeah,
a little bit of knowledge to me.
Yeah, and from a wider point of view for marketing, I'm coming from healthcare, oil and gas, government, public sector kind of marketing environment. Even though my friends and family are all in the trade, this is my a year in, my real first hand glimpse into the trade.
So it's a good industry.
It's amazing. And again, a bit like what I did at Shell. I was like, wow, this is obviously the building industry is vast, but I didn't realise how vast it was in terms of all the different merchants, all the different tools, all the different fixings, all the different, and there's a diverse amount of as we know with all these influencers. They're all personalities, and I feel some of them are they're putting their personality in, wanting to be an influencer before
the work.
And then I think that's kind of devaluing a little bit of the industry, because some of these videos are great and they're entertaining, but actually
you wouldn't get brand deals if people didn't enjoy your content and your work.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
It gets diluted.
I think the influencer scene is a little bit of the Wild Wild West in a minute.
I had a conversation with someone about 2 hours ago about the way, obviously I make content and YouTube and Instagram and that, but there seems to be a thing happening at the minute, and even yesterday it happened, where people are putting content out now showing the absolute wrong way to do stuff. Yeah, for likes, clicks, and yes, all right, it's funny, but they're putting it out. If you know that's wrong, then you'll go, all right, mate, yeah, it's funny. But there's a lot of people now that are watching the likes of TikTok stuff and Instagram stuff that are learning. Now, I'm not going to say who it was, but I'll say what he did. From the plumbing side, you've got a valve on the end of each radiator. One side is a lock shield valve with a drain off end coming out of the end.
What's a radiator?
All right, Bob. Oh, yeah. And the drain off on the end. You plug your hose onto it to drain your system down. They do leak. Sometimes if you open them up, they can leak. Now, the person who's done this content, he's done it for a laugh, and I get it. I get it because I know it's wrong. He's looked at it and made a funny reel going, right, we'll just roll up some tissue paper, push it up there, then silicone the end of it. It's like a Friday afternoon bodge. Funny, get it, whatever. But there's going to be people that are watching that, possibly coming into it going, is that a thing then? And they're making this content now wrong on purpose to get the clicks and the likes and the clickbait and the views to get the money. Yeah. But it's knocking the industry. It's knocking the value that we've. There's people out there that are putting good content out, and there's people now, and there seems to be a lot of them that are beginning to put this shit content out for clicks.
Well,
money.
Rob mentioned, you made a really good point in the car, Rob, on the way up. You said about all these really experienced carpenters who have earned their trade. You know, they've done the apprenticeship. They've learned, probably made loads of mistakes, learned from it, lost businesses, made it again. You know, really kind of learnt the hard way and become really experienced and literally so good at what they do. And then you've got all these like youngsters who, you know, they're probably not even a carpenter. And they're actually, I'm not saying these older experienced carpenters or builders or whatever specialists they are in the industry, but they're probably thinking, if they are on social media wanting to build, they're thinking, hang about, you know, my work is like triple times better than theirs, and you know, and I've, you know, my values are better, my approach is better, but these guys are coming on social media and pushing out this content. It needs for it to be engaging. It's got to be a little bit, you know, and they've got to have a personality. It's got to be a little bit funny, not always, but you know, it is devaluing the industry, I think, and they must be thinking, what am I doing wrong?
I guess you know, with a lot of stuff now, like the problem is I feel like a lot of people are putting little tips and stuff out there, which is fine, which is great. It's great because obviously, you know, there's a lot of really good experienced carpenters out there and they're putting stuff, but when you get these real youngsters putting these like, they're kind of like real like tacky kind of things, and then people are seeing it as a standard and they're going, oh, was that the thing? And I'm getting youngsters going, oh, have you seen this trick with this guttering and stuff like that? And I'm going, oh God, I've seen. Do you know what?
I stuck it together like this.
Oh,
Yeah, but that goes to what I've said with that.
oh.
It there's some stuff that's going out that you like.
I think
what are
they're
you pushing that for?
They're seeing the stars. You know,
Stop talking about my content. Man.
Yeah. Maybe they're chasing the fame before actually being passionate about the carpentry or the
it's
building.
just for clicks and numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I always find your best bet is the YouTube, but it's being able to convince somebody to invest 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But that type of content, you get more in depth of what's going rather than 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, I think you get.
You
I
can't
think,
really.
Yeah, I prefer making my 25-minute
I watch a lot more
content
on YouTube now.
because long form it's more interesting,
when
more
you look at Rogan,
proper.
you know, look at Rogan and all the major podcasts, they're now long form.
And they're 2 hours plus.
Yeah, exactly that. But I think what you'll find if you've done an analysis or if there is a report out there, the quality of people watching it.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
It's a lot more highly engaged.
Absolutely, and you're going to get.
If you're going to invest 2 hours of your time to sit and watch, or you know, a 2-hour podcast that Rogan does, you're specifically doing it.
I found as a brand, it's well and good having people who are on Instagram and TikTok, and we do use that as a sort of route to market. But I was finding if I was teaming up with people that have higher YouTube accounts, those people have a captive audience for a good 20 minutes. So if your product is flashing up, even if it's in the background, or somebody's wearing a hoodie or whatever, it is subliminal all the time. Whereas 7 seconds on TikTok, because that's the normal sort of length of a TikTok. No one's really focusing in on that. They're just like, like you say, just
when they're flicking, but they're not really digesting the content.
They're not taking it in.
No, and you know, and it's one of the things that you know, our strategy for next year is going to be a lot of more meaningful campaigns. So. Obviously, bottom line is our fixings, why they're good for the trade, how they save time and money, the quality, working with these guys. But it's also about making sure, you know, our marketing kind of, you know, screams that we know about the industry. We're thought leaders, you know, we're experts. We also understand the challenges, not just because we don't sell directly to the tradespeople. We sell through merchants. And we don't just sell in, we sell through. So we really support them. You know, we do demo days, which not a lot of people do. Our sales guys get they pitch up, they get the drills out, they get the fixings out.
Get people involved with it.
Involved. The only way you're gonna, you know, kind of prove how good your fixings are is get that fixing in a hand with a drill and make some noise. And you know, and it's one of our USPs, which I'm giving away to the public, but you know, but we're proud of it. You know, it's time to talk about that. We set the standards, we set innovation, we're growing year on year, and we're proud of what we do. And you know, and we also support the merchants. You know, we recently just at a Jewson's area managers training session where we're educating the staff. So they'll only know to upsell our stainless steel range, or the flooring screw does this, or the Pro Hex head is the M10 coach bolt replacement. They'll only know that if they're educated. So when it's improving their customer experience as well by someone going into Jewson, their customer go, do you know, actually, if you're putting, you know, if you're doing, you know, a loft conversion, do you know you can save time using a Pro Hex head? Or actually, do you know our Pro flatheads are the flattest flathead on the market if you're doing a warm roof? And if they're not educated and we don't put that effort in, They'll never know that. And so it's improving, obviously, growth and upsell of our fixings in store, which is the bottom line always. But actually, it's about educating the staff and making sure they're aware about the features and benefits of the fixing.
The people are valuing the proper quality product. Away from I'll just have that because it's cheap. People are now going, yeah, it is cheap, but that's going to make my life easier. The more expensive one, I'm not going to get called back to it.
Yeah.
It's going to do better than what it should do.
Well, their reputation's their commodity nowadays, and and they can't afford to keep going back.
People used to think back in the day, no one sees it.
Yeah, especially fixing screws. I've been in jobs before where you're taking stub work down. It's been putting up 5 or 6 years ago. They put it up with drywall screws, and you're going, drywall screws.
Or even the wrong size screw.
No,
too short and something's just dangling off.
We've taken something apart a few years back, and they literally had everything was 4-inch nails. They literally must have had an abundant load of nails.
The only thing on the van.
Yeah, they're like, do you know what?
That's what they do, don't they?
Friday.
Yeah.
That's what Bob does. Like
just use them 4-inch screws for everything. Yeah.
So what we tend to do at this time as well is we ask you about future plans and sort of what does the future hold for your job role, your brands that you're working with, for you, for your business. Obviously, trying to find an apprentice. Give us a short summary of what the future holds for both of you two, then, or even working together.
Yeah. To get together.
Yeah, because that's going to be quite prolific, isn't it? You two teaming up.
Absolutely. I want to build a community and have that smaller community to kind of help, drive education, awareness, the right influencers. Influencing good standards, values. I want eventually to,
would you think about, because obviously you're talking about the colleges and stuff like that, and we know that a lot of other brands, there's companies like Lawton, CT1, Vihar, I think, or Veyra have done some tours around colleges.
Yeah, that's key, isn't it? Is getting into them early.
Well, we are. Yeah, there's landscape academies and other academies and colleges that we are engaging with to get. No, not just our lovely goodie bags in. I'll get one and show one in a minute. But our branding in. But actually going around and educating people. And this is the future for these guys to actually take time out, come with us, be ambassadors at shows, at trade shows, at colleges, and kind of talk about the industry. Really, like I said earlier about we're really proud that sales and marketing work as one. We don't just coexist. We really do work as one. Yeah. One don't blame the other. I don't blame sales if I've come up with an amazing marketing campaign and they don't execute it. That won't happen because we work on it together. And they don't come and say to me, wasting all the budget on these hoodies and all this flash stuff, because we work together and we make the decisions together, and we've got that autonomy from the leadership team to go, look, sales and marketing, you as one. I spend so much time out in the field with them, and with merchants as well. So you actually get. Because that's a culture as well. There's so many different merchants where some are quite corporate, some are the independents are really just do whatever. We're on board. You've got our support. Others are a little bit more cautious, which is quite right. Because they've got their own policies, their own landscape. Excuse the pun, but they've got their own landscape, and that's what I want to do. My role will develop next year in terms of working across the tradespeople and the merchants and the sales guys, and just bringing them all together to make sure everyone's on the same page.
You've got your work cut out there then.
Busy year, but like I said,
ever the optimist.
busy year, but like I said,
good luck with it.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're very ambitious, and I'll hand over to Rob now.
Well, it's kind of I guess a similar sort of thing. It's getting the opportunities now, because obviously now it's kind of getting a more established company. Next year is our 10-year anniversary, so hopefully, next year is going to bring us some nice new challenges, and just getting bigger projects and getting more people in board, and especially now trying to especially with the social media side of things, it's kind of more new to me. I'm trying to get with it and trying to get on board and things. I really enjoy meeting people, talking to people, talking about products, trialing things. I'm not really massively I want this, I want that, or anything like that. It's kind of, for me, when a lot of times if we have been given anything in the past, I give it out to our guys, because it's just I think it's just sharing it, and then obviously just meeting new people, because we've met some great people, especially for Instagram, and especially a lot of the trade shows as well. And I think for growing the company wise, I feel like we just keep pushing on the path, and to be honest, a lot of companies are there to grow and things, but I think small construction firms, I would say, why would you want to grow? I'm not going to put off people from growing massively, but I feel like when you've got that intimate, you're bringing out a quality brand, there's only so much you can grow to a level unless you then, you start, becoming a lot more...
Losing a bit of...
Yeah, you kind of lose that bit of that touch. And I feel like construction needs that sort of like, that reliance. They need that family, company to turn up. And they know, like I've got clients, we've got WhatsApp groups. I say, if you've got a problem, is there anything, say, if someone's too noisy, is a radio too loud, or someone, does this, just send me a message. Anytime a message, I might not respond, but if I see it and I do, and it's troubling, I'll get back to you. And at the end of the day, like the business is built on reliability, trust, and obviously then the quality workmanship. And obviously it's just having that bit when you get the feedback saying, oh, your guys are really good, they're really polite, they're tidy, they make sure things. And for me, like I feel like the growth for that is just the growth in confidence in getting clients, knowing that you as a company
can do
what they want, and then you kind of then don't have to worry about that. It's a bit like when you go to a certain like food place, you buy a certain brand, you're buying it because you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of getting that bit of effectively our brand. I guess we are a brand, slightly. But it's just getting that people where people are, they look at us and
they
go,
trust you without even...
Yeah. They don't have to worry and go, then they don't have to like scour, and go, oh, I'll ask this people, or, like, we always get, when we go to price up for a big renovation, we put in like references down, but now we feel like that's happening less and less now because obviously it's just recommendation. A lot of it now is just people are going, well, actually you work for a friend, just crack on.
Do you work in like the same area all the time?
Same area.
You don't go nationwide.
We don't need to travel. Like at the moment we've got a job in Hayward Heath, and that's probably like the furthest we've travelled, the opposite way we normally work. We work in Oxted so much. Like,
I think the thing is as well is you get to know, if you are niched into an area, you get to know what that type of clientele wants as well, because the majority of people are friends of friends of friends, and everybody wants not something really similar, but to the same level. Or
their tastes are going to be quite similar, aren't they?
And especially if it's off recommendation, because you're like, well, I've just done a job here, and I know how particular they were, or what they wanted, so I know if they're friends with these generally.
You know how they're going to be, You know the outcome. The thing is as well, like we've got the job I went to look at the other day, lovely young couple, absolutely like lovely sized house, and they want a real big nice renovation, and we always pull people in, like certain companies that we work with and which we trust, and obviously like decorators and stuff like that. And we say, look, I'll get you to give them. They'll give you a price direct. We will just like deal with it. They'll come out, visit it, and obviously, and then then that we work with them. We're not like part of there's money involved. It's just literally we use them because we know we can trust and work with them. So we just say, look, you just pay them. You're paying them direct because we know they're good. We know there's no problems. And I feel like there's certain bits, especially when you get to certain levels of work, you do need to pull in other people. And I think a lot of small building companies are scared of...
Try and do everything.
Yeah, they try to do everything themselves. And I think you can't do everything. You can't be good at everything. You need to just, own what you want. Like, I run a building company, but I'm a carpenter. I don't try to plumb. Yeah. I'm terrible at it. Don't do electrics because I'm scared of getting electrocuted. I got electrocuted actually the first time this year, and, I don't want to have it again. Like,
absolutely.
Should we go to the old
final thought? Jeremy Springer.
So basically, what we do at this point is we try and get you to either divulge some knowledge or a bit of advice for apprentices, or you can shamelessly plug your brands, whatever it is that you want to do. But we sort of like give you the floor, and it's over to you for like a couple of minutes of just if you wanted
some
to
knowledge.
For me is I joked earlier about blagging it, and I kind of half did, but I think if I was giving any advice to a youngster, how hard it is nowadays to get a job, just be honest, ask questions, say you don't know.
Don't be afraid to ask. I think a lot of people are, aren't they?
Don't be afraid to ask, and just choose something. Choose something and focus on it. Don't pretend you can do everything, because you can easily fall flat on your bum. You're willing to learn. That's the biggest thing. Willing to learn. And in the biggest skills, which I'm, I've got a 13-year-old boy coming up to 14 who I must admit, it's just his generation, amazing on devices, but luckily he's also great at go-karting and driving, so he's got that passion. But he's also a device. He's a tech guy, a tech child, and it's about. And I've just encourage him to. Whatever you go into, just make sure you're willing. You really show the passion that you want to learn. If it's a new skill, develop new skills, learn new skills. Just show that willingness to learn. Yeah. But have because they're quite kids in general, a device, and they hide behind WhatsApp and the messaging and all that kind of stuff. Learn to communicate.
Yeah.
Learn to look people in the eye and talk and communicate. and and it's the only way you're going to show your passion. The only way you're going to get your personality across, because your personality, your communication skills, is what I think employers look for. Obviously your skills, but you as a person.
So that's pretty decent. That's pretty good advice.
thank you.
I think
He's just going to go same as that.
What he said.
What he said. No, I think honestly, the big thing is, especially for young people coming into it, is don't be afraid to ask. Like I say to our young guys all the time, like you get to a point where you have to say to them, just don't be afraid to ask. Like you're never one of my old chippies, Bill, is absolutely incredible craftsman, and I just I still ask him now if there's something I'm thinking about, a bit unsure. Or Eddie, one of our chippies, like he's an absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible carpenter, and I'll just say, do you know what, like how would you want this to look? Sometimes you might disagree with each other. You might look and go, well, actually, but you want to get that point across of being able to ask, and whatever age you are. And obviously asking for help as well, because sometimes, you can't do everything yourself, and sometimes you do have to go, oh, actually, can I have a little bit of help doing this? Or can I, what's your experience in this? Have you come across this before? And especially like young, like carpenters and young tradespeople coming into the trade, like get on board with, getting familiar with other people, asking the questions, and don't try and take on things that you can't do. Because you get in that awful bit then of then getting put down, and, you'll get known as a person that's just try stuff, and you kind of cocking stuff up.
So don't blag it.
I think in construction,
don't blag it.
I really think in the building, I think there's only so much blagging you can do, because you get caught out quick.
Yeah, you'll get had out straight away.
It's only funny, but it's the one industry you can't.
You can view it.
You can't.
Tangible,
You can't blag your way through. Like there's only so much. Like we've had new guys come on and they go, oh yeah, I can do this. I built this. I do this, and they literally the first day and literally within the first hour, you already know.
It's when
they get their tools out.
Somebody does a wall and he goes, but I know HTML.
But then you do get caught out really quick, and I think to be honest, it's just honesty as well. And thing is, like, I think just wait your time. Work hard, put all your effort into it, and hopefully, if you put the effort, it'll just come through. Come through naturally instead of you trying to trying to beg your way from job to job, because there's so many people that go from job to job, and you think, God, you've worked for a lot of people. You're 20 years old, and you've already worked for 6 people.
I've got an idea. When you interview for your next apprentice, get all their excuses out at once. Like, you ask their first question, what is your best Monday morning excuse? Ask them outright.
Yeah. List it.
That'd be a good icebreaker.
They play Monday morning bingo, so how many do they actually do?
I woke up in Vegas. You can take the week off.
I'm coming with you Friday, mate.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
I'm just on my way over to come and get you. Stay there.
Amazing.
No, I love that. But no, thank you very much for coming on.
No, it's all good. Thank you for having us. It's
No,
been
thank you.
amazing.
Enjoyed it.
It's been really good. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you very much. And one last time, go on.
Oh yeah, like, subscribe, drop a comment below, and honestly, it makes a massive difference. Hitting the like button on the YouTube makes the biggest difference, and also I think 70% of people that watch the channel aren't subscribed. Doesn't cost anything. Hit the subscribe button, hit a like button, drop a comment. I'll reply. Done.
Done.
You can win an Optimax hoodie.
Well, to be fair, if you want to, basically, you've got a little goodie bag down here.
I've got. Honestly, at Screwfix Live, I think I've had people on our Instagram channel direct message me saying
People have been getting murdered for these.
Literally. They despereally want our Optimax hoodies, and we've also got
We've got the cap as well, Carpenter's
we've
mate.
also got
And
we've also got
Berrywood
Contractors. Carpenter's mate goodie bag as well. So we've got a couple of them here to if you want to.
What we'll do is because we like to keep
Have a cap.
some
Have a
stash
cap.
here,
Yeah,
so
have a Carpenter's mate cap.
we might have to stick like a cap wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
That'd be amazing.
Cap wall over there.
Cap wall.
But what we'll do is anybody who is watching this on the YouTube, we'll probably give it out on the YouTube. If you're watching it, leave us a comment, and we'll pick
Randomly pick someone.
We'll randomly pick a comment. Could be funny, could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
You could even call me an EV tosser, whatever it is. So we'll go with that.
I'm going to just troll it now. Constantly.
Loads of bot accounts.
EV.
But yeah, we'll give some goodies away. Drop a comment in the YouTube description bar at the bottom, and we'll give some bits away.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thanks for having us. It's been
Thank you.
amazing. Brilliant.